Hey stargazers, welcome back to Skywatch Weekly. In this week's video, we've got a strawberry to look for in the sky, Mercury still hanging out in the west after the sun goes down, and a special flight to the moon for a nice change of scenery. Hope you had a chance over the last week or so to see the International Space Station in the sky. We highlighted in last week's video, including a very nice pass on Sunday night. On Saturday night as well, a good pass, not quite as high up in the sky, but it ended up being only a few hours after the Crew Dragon launch from Florida. And if you watched carefully after the space station went over, you could see a very faint point of light about 20 seconds behind the space station, chasing after it. That was the Crew Dragon Endeavour capsule, leading up to that successful docking on Sunday morning. Well, if you still want to catch the space station, or maybe you missed your chance this past week, you've got a good chance coming up tonight. In fact, it's our last really good view of the space station in the evening sky, at least for the next couple of weeks here in Chicago. So this will be a great pass going through Gemini, Leo, Virgo, and then right by the moon. Now, if you're not quite sure how to read this chart, or maybe need a refresher, check out last week's video, and that should give you all the information that you need. Well, getting into what's in the sky for tonight, let's start with Mercury. Still there in the western sky, but you do want to catch it now. If you haven't had a chance yet, haven't quite caught it, now is going to be your best chance for the rest of the year, for 2020 in the evening sky. This will be the easiest that we get. In fact, tomorrow night on the 4th, it's at its greatest extent from the sun. So it'll be setting at its latest after the sun goes down. Now, you still want to catch it in that about half hour to 45 minutes after sunset. It is visible later in the night as well, but it'll be getting much lower in the sky. So do check that out. And if you want a little bit more information on what to look for and why Mercury is so tough to catch, you can check out our video from May 20th. Well, Mercury is right there in the center. We're looking west-northwest, about an hour after sunset here. We do have a few recognizable other bright points of light, including off to the right of Mercury, a little bit more towards the north, we've got Capella. And to the other side of Mercury is going to be Procyon, or Procyon. That's part of Canis Minor, one of these few remaining wintertime stars just hanging out in this western sky after the sun goes down, as we're getting here into what is now late spring, as we've entered June. We also have Mercury, a little bit low, but nice and bright. And if you have a telescope to view it through, you can actually catch the phase, about half lit right now. And a beautiful view. A little bit small, much dimmer than Venus was when we were seeing that in the evening sky, but well worth a look. Also in this direction, we have the Gemini twins, Pollux and Castor. Mercury right now starting to make a little bit of a pass through those twins. But as I said, over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be getting harder and harder to see, diving down into that twilight glow. And by the end of June, Mercury will start to join Venus in the morning sky and really not be visible this easily in the evening sky for the rest of 2020. Well, Mercury is going to be our challenge for the week. It is a bit of a repeat, but I really want to stress that this is a great thing to look for, your best chance to see it in 2020. So you're challenged to get out there and see Mercury for yourself. No binoculars, no telescope needed. Should be quite easy, just with your eyes, even from light-polluted skies. So that's what we have in the west after the sun goes down. Let's go a little bit later on in the night. We're going to go to about 2 hours past sunset and face south. So we have a great view of the moon. Hopefully you had a chance over the last week or so to catch that moon, changing its position and also its phase in the sky. Here's some views of the moon I got through my telescope. Now this is not zoomed in particularly far. If you have a moderate-sized telescope, and this was honestly just taken using my smartphone, holding it up to the eyepiece and looking through there. Some beautiful views, all the craters along the terminator there, the shadow line between the light and the dark. That shadow line has been moving across the face of the moon. And if you're looking tonight, we're about 2 nights from the full moon, which will be the strawberry moon. That's coming up on Friday night. The strawberry moon, well, named for the strawberries that ripen at this time of the year. In fact, yesterday my oldest daughter came running in. She said, Daddy, we've got these ripening strawberries. They're turning red out on the patio. And in fact, just in time for this strawberry moon. Well, that strawberry moon is going to be near a, similarly reddish-looking thing in the sky. That's going to be Antares. We've mentioned that before. The heart of Scorpius the scorpion. much higher in the sky now, a couple hours past sunset, as it had been when we looked at it before a few weeks ago. So the moon for tonight, a little bit higher up and a little bit further away from Scorpius. But on the night of that full moon, coming up on the 5th, on Friday night, you're going to find the moon just to the left of where Antares is in the sky. When we view the moon from Earth and we see its phase change and its location in the sky change as well, have you ever wondered, though, what it would look like if we were to observe Earth from the moon? Well, let's check it out. Let's jump off the surface of Earth, fly to the moon, and see what it would look like if we could be there. We're going to head to the moon now. It took Apollo astronauts about 3 days to get to the moon back during the Apollo program. We're going to cover that distance here in about 20 seconds. Now, we always see the same side of the moon. We see the man on the moon, the woman on the moon, the rabbit on the moon, all these other pictures that you might imagine on that face. That's because that same face of the moon is facing Earth at all times. But that's got some interesting effects if you're on the moon looking back at Earth. Things don't work quite the way you'd think they would. We're going to zoom down in here to a nice viewing platform. And as we settle down onto the lunar surface here, we're going to look up and see here we're at a nearly full moon. We're looking up here at a nearly new Earth in the lunar sky. Let's zoom in here with a small telescope on the surface of the moon. You would potentially be able to see some of the city lights on the planet Earth, and definitely the beautiful backlit atmosphere, that very thin sunlit crescent of our beautiful blue planet. Well, a nearly full moon has a nearly new Earth in the sky. Let's speed up time and zoom out a little bit. We can see here on the corners our view of the lunar surface. Now we're going to go over the course of about 2 Earth weeks here. So 14 Earth days zooming by. Notice the Earth isn't moving in the moon's sky. The sun getting ready to set over there on the right side. But remember how many days are going by here. It takes the sun about 2 Earth weeks to rise and then set as viewed from the moon. Well, here we are near a new moon phase, but here we have a full Earth in the sky. Our beautiful blue marble in space, seeing the continents, the weather patterns changing, still spinning once every 24 hours. So you wouldn't see it move quite that quickly in real time from the moon. But keep in mind as well, your night, the time the sun is down, would be about 2 weeks long, so plenty of time to observe the moon in the sky. So viewing Earth from the moon, a change of perspective, a change of point of view, a chance to think of things as you might never have thought about them before. Well, that's our video for this week. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and look up with us every Wednesday. Also follow the Adler Planetarium on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.